What you do every day defines you. To pravi moj današnji gost Don Wisniewski. Dobrodošli na mojem podcastu Preboj za podjetnike in vodje. Moje ime je Aleksander Šinigoj in moja strast je, da intervjuvam oziroma modeliram uspešne ljudi in to znanje o njihovem uspehu prenašam na podjetnike in vodje. Oziroma vse tiste, ki bi radi nekoč postali vodje oziroma podjetniki. Prvi del intervjuja je povsem brezplačen. Drugi poglobljeni del je pa na voljo zgolj našim članom Mastermind kluba 10 Trust. Gre za podjetnike in vodje, ki bi radi hitreje povečali prodajo, dobiček in rast svojih podjetij. Če bi radi tudi vi povečali dobiček in rast vašega podjetja, vas vabim, da se nam pridružite in postanete člani Mastermind kluba 10 Trust. Pišite nam za več informacij na info@mastermindacademia.com. Kot rečeno, je moj današnji gost Don Wisniewski, ki je serijski ustanovitelj uspešnih startupov, od katerih je zadnja 2 obdržal in jo vodi 14 let. V času pandemije je svoj delovnik iz 2 dni povečal na 4 dni. Njegovi podjetji pa imata v tem času številke na najvišji ravni v zadnjih 4 letih. Kot pravi, to ni zato, ker bi bili imuni, temveč je to posledica vse organizacije in vsega, kar so naredili v zadnjih letih. Prisluhnite torej mojemu zanimivemu sogovorniku, ki je med drugim tudi povedal, da to, kar sem vam na začetku že povedal, da kar počnete vsak dan, vas definira. Vabljeni, poslušajte, uživajte in hvaležen bom, da nam zaupate, kaj se vas je dotaknilo, kaj boste tudi sami uporabili v vašem življenju oziroma pri vašem poslovanju. So, hello everyone. I'm excited to have today with us Don Wisniewski, who is for the last 15 years been an entrepreneur, 6 startups. He's sold 4 and he's currently running 2 of them. So Don, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Alexander. Yeah, I've spent 15 years in corporate America, and one of the questions people ask me is what one thing has grown me the most in business, and it's been getting on my first startup. That first year, after being an executive with some major U.S. companies, I joined a small startup with 25 people. But that first year I joined them, man, I learned so much being an entrepreneur. And since then, that company, we sold it. I've done 4. I've gone on or started 4 of them, and they've been sold. And now I'm on my 5th and my 6th one, which are doing really well. Even in the case of the global climate we have right now, they're doing well. So,
perfect. Yeah, could you tell us a little bit about your business? What do you do in your business?
So the largest one is focused on supplying programming resources to the e-commerce industry. And specifically what we do is we sell services and solutions to digital agencies. So for instance, you might say, hey, I've got all this product, I want to sell it, and I need a digital agency to help me figure out pay-per-click and all that. And they'd go to an agency and they'd help them with their pages and all that front-end web stuff. But then they'd say, look, we need to have a transaction engine. It's actually going to sell the stuff, and we need to integrate that with our ERP system and all that. So these are the guys that would call us up, and we'd plug into them. They would handle the client side, and we would do all the work. So that's about 100. That's about 100 guys now. That group. Then we have a second company that's really focused more on the front end work and doing high touch services with the clients. Very similar though, e-commerce focused. But we try not to do a lot of small websites. Our jobs are typically 2,000-3,000 hour jobs, and big projects. So, and that company is about 30 people. So about 130 people right now.
Wow. So how did it start? How did it all start?
When I got in the first entrepreneurship was with that first company was back in 1999. I was contacted by a guys from Russia, actually, and they said, hey, they got this cool little product they wanted to sell to me when I was at a company called VTech. And I said, I love it. It was downloading content from the internet. It was all these cool things, but I couldn't get my company to be interested in it. So I ended up leaving that company, joining them. And we grew that company from 25 people to 350 people in 2 years. So since then, I've been in that entrepreneurship. I was in mobile games for a while, and now these last two, I sold the last one in 2008 to a San Mateo based company. And we decided that I took 5 guys and I decided to start a company that was focused on web and web services. And for a long time, it ran about 35 guys, about 5 years, until I decided I want to get deeper into e-commerce and got a hold of a guy named Keith Cunningham. He taught me a bunch of business skills on how to scale. But my normal model was to build it and sell it. And this guy, Keith, convinced me that, there's a lot of money here if I want to tune it and make it run like a machine. That I wasn't my big skill, quite frankly. But I decided to take his word for it. I joined a couple of his programs, and I got my operation muscle, if you will, my strength in operations up higher. And since then, the companies, these 2 companies now, I started the second one in 2018, are producing more profit per year than I ever made in my lifetime. So wow. They're doing really, really well. And it's because of the work I've done on the operation side.
So what is now your vision for both companies?
So, these are interesting times, of course, right? So this actually is a wake-up call for, I think, most every company out there. Even though right now both of my companies are they're kind of in a bubble. We're working on work we booked in March and April, and even a little bit in May, and our numbers are still at the highest level they've been since the last 4 years. So when you look at my companies, you say, wow, you're immune to this, and we're not. So we're really not. So we have a cash flow plan. We have expectations of possibly reducing the company down to 50% its size. We've taken precautions as we're navigating through this time. But the beautiful opportunity is for us is that it's kind of like if you're familiar with U.S. baseball, they throw a ball and you have to hit it with a bat, and it's one of the hardest things to do. A good baseball player hits 1 out of 3 times, and that's a really good guy. If you're hitting 300, you're doing 30%. And because it happens so fast, right? And what's happening for us now in this industry is that you can almost see the ball coming at us in slow motion. so you could just see it coming right at us. And we've got everything prepped in our company. If there's going to be a downturn in our clients or anything, then we're going to be able to react accordingly. So again, a privilege is that we're prepared properly to modify our company and reinvent our company. And that's what we're really starting to do already. We're expanding into different technologies. We're retraining guys while we still have money and we still have resources to do it. And we're getting ready to kind of reposition the company during the process of everybody being shut down. And then when everything starts to open back up, we're going to be in even better shape than we were going into the crisis.
So if you were to start again today, what would you do differently?
It's a really good question. I think one of the things I would do differently. I was before COVID, I was pretty much an owner, not an operator. I would spend 2 days in the businesses. I would work 2 days a week effectively. But it's when the crisis started to hit, I got much more involved in the business. So I probably work about 4 days a week now. But I still work with my operator hat on when I need to, and my owner hat on all the time. So what I would do differently is I would spend probably more time coaching and enabling my team to do more without me. When I first started, I was very hands-on and very active. And I wouldn't say I was trying, I felt I was the only one who could do it. I just felt it was my role to do my part. And my part was to have an active in the business role, which I was running sales and I was doing a lot of the operations decisions, et cetera. But in retrospect, I should have pulled out of those roles as quick as I can and done it through coaching and enabling. Because then you've got a team that can run itself. And then you can think about your business in different ways because you're not dealing with all the stuff coming at you every day, right? So that's probably the only thing I would change. I wouldn't change the industry. I quite frankly, I wouldn't change the experience because it's molded me into who I am today and what I know. But I would change, my again, it's not a need to be in it. I felt that I had to contribute, but there's different ways to contribute, I guess. And that's the best way to say it. And I contribute more from coaching and enabling and supporting and helping people with I call them EMT, executive management team. I help them refine their decision-making skills and their critical thinking skills and look at secondary and third level consequences when they make a decision. So that and things like that have just made a tremendous difference in me freeing up myself from the business. The business runs itself now. And I get to do other things, and plus they get to do more. Good question.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about you. So what do you do in your free time? How do you recharge yourself?
Well, it's a real good question. I meditate. I pray every morning. I have daily rituals that really support me, and I can tell if I miss them 1 or 2 days in a row, then I start not feeling normal. So, that's one of the things I volunteer a lot for Tony Robbins. We go and we serve there. And I think last year I volunteered like 2.5 months of my time. So it's a big chunk of my time that I get to, and that I get recharged from that, from helping people. I get recharged from, again, my morning rituals support me every day. I read different books, and I like watching and studying a little bit about history and what's happened. Right now, I'm glued to some of the economists and the guys who are trying to project and predict what's going to be happening to the economy. And I love learning, and I think my recharge is really learning. And one of the things I've taken up under COVID is making a puzzle. These puzzles, little puzzles. Yeah. And I'm like, and it's just such a reminder for me that it's kind of a metaphor for life. You take one little piece at a time, you put them all together. You're going to have some struggles. Some of it's going to work out. Before you know it, you got a beautiful picture. And but you just keep going. Right. And things like that. I garden. I like working in the garden because I like working with my hands. But all these things are distractions, but still supportive for me. Thanks for asking.
You said that you like to learn. So what is something that you like to read, for example?
Well, so the most recent book is The Art of Possibility. I love that book. And it talks about kind of rethinking the game of what's possible. And how conceptually you can put the world of possibility in a space of it can come to you. It's not, just believe it'll come. It's do these activities and things will come. So things like that. Those are the kind of books I really enjoy. One of my books I like to give away a lot is Keith Cunningham's book, The Road Less Stupid, right? That book is so full of wisdom. It's got so much in it that I reread it a couple times. At least I try to do at least once a year, and I keep referencing it a lot. He's got just a tremendous background in operations and operation management, and he just shares all that in his book. So those are the kind of things I like to read. And one of the things he's taught me and I still have, I'm on my 14th year now with my main business. And frankly, I was going to sell it year 5, year 6, like I normally do. Right. But he convinced me that there's more here if I get optics and I get focus on, the priorities in the business, and I build a management team. And now the business is 3 times its size. I would have the size that it was, and it literally is making 3 times more profit than it was back then. And it's an incredible testament to his mentoring and how he teaches you how to really tune a business. And I've just taken a lot of his guidance and put it to work. So, and it's worked out really well. And in today, that's one of the things is you need to watch out for a lot is the cash flow of your business. And do your 13-week cash flow. Just lay it all out. It's very, very important to understand what obstacles could be coming your way, and cash will help you buffer those obstacles. I kind of tell people it's like you're driving down the expressway, and then everybody around you starts going crazy, and these trucks and everybody's flying, and they could literally hit you and knock you out. And if one bumps into you, is a little bump going to make you swerve and crash or anything like that? So the analogy is, this COVID it can take you out, and it can take your company completely away. What will preserve you is the ability to slow down, speed up, watch what's around you, be very, very hyper vigilant on watching your cash flow to make sure you have the revenue and you have the cash, the money in the bank that allow you to buffer a client not paying for 30 days, a client disappearing. Maybe it could be something like you need to reduce your staff, but you need 30 days to do that, and they're not going to be productive for those 30 days. So all these things can cripple your company, and then you won't have an opportunity when it's all over to come back out and launch into the new business market we're all going to be in. So you got to make sure you can get through this time frame, and you got to be very, very vigilant about watching your cash and watching your collections and taking care of your clients.
You mentioned a lot about Keith Cunningham. I presume he is one of your role models.
Yeah, he is actually. I see him 3 times a year. He's a mentor to me, and I get to work with him face to face 3 times a year. In this case, we're doing Zoom calls, right? It was back in April, but yeah, very, very much. And I credit Tony Robbins for a lot of personal growth I've had, and challenging, of course, in his environment there's challenges that allow us to grow personally, and in my world that has actually expanded a lot. But from a wealth standpoint, it wasn't until I got a hold of Keith Cunningham where my personal wealth has just skyrocketed. And I think that's because the way he teaches how to make money, how to keep money, and how to build scalable systems that you can continue to run as an operator or an owner. I choose to be an owner, and you can allow these things to be part of your life without losing your whole life into them by being too deep in the operation side.
So what do you do to learn more about growing your business besides being mentored by Keith Cunningham? Is there any other investment in time or learning that you do to grow your business?
So fundamentally, I've been successful creating these businesses because I focus a lot on sales. And I it's like the tip of the arrow. If you can't sell it, then it doesn't matter how well you can make it. Doesn't matter how genius the idea is. If you can't sell it, then you can't really build a business around it. So I spend time with other professionals on an accountability list, if you will. I just check in with them on how they're selling, what they sell, how they sell things, and what is that, what motivates them, and then what's the structure around it. So what I and that to me is one of the key, and in a lot of cases the most important element of a company is how well you execute your sales program. And you identify new markets and products, of course, but it's really how well you execute. So what serves me really well is accountability partners. I have about 5 calls a week with other CEOs or other sales professionals in just friends, or I've got to know over the years. We just support each other. But I get on a call and I tell them what I'm doing. I ask them what they're doing. I ask them how they're responding to the market right now, and we just have a 30-minute conversation. Usually it's no more than 30 minutes, where we just check in with each other. So that accountability keeps me on track, keeps my knowledge up, keeps me aware of what's going on in the business, and it's with people outside of my current business that I get to check in with. So I keep rotating them every 3 or 4 months. I get a new guy in and I drop a guy out and I move. But usually it's about 5 people a week. So it's about 3.5 hours a week I invest in that. And then the odd course or study, and I watch some video of people and what they're doing. But that's really what I do. I love the accountability partner idea because it keeps me on track.
So what would you say are your core values that help you succeed?
It's execution and discipline. Of course, integrity. But success is really comes from I can build systems through discipline. And I can build them with integrity, of course. And what I do every day or every week in my business that's what makes all the difference. It's not the one big idea. It sometimes it is, but I call that luck. What's made my company so well run and profitable is that they have good discipline and structure on an everyday basis and an every week basis that allows them to grow. And then we just keep layering success on success. And that to me is the formula. So it's discipline and systems for support.
How do you react in stressful, difficult situations?
I used to get angry. I used to get upset and anymore, now I can just, it's a trigger for me, and like anybody, triggers, get you, can point you one way or another. When I feel it coming on, I take a deep breath, and then I say, okay. And I super slow things down. What I do is I just kind of really slow it down, like I'm exaggerating my speech right now, and I just slow it down so I can see what's happening. And then I decide, okay, what is the best decision and the best input I can add right now? Because ultimately we're all trying to do what's right. There's no real failures. There's only opportunities to change it. And there's ultimately, when something's coming at you, it's here for a reason, of course, and we can turn it into a good reason. But if you don't slow down, then you just react, right? So what I try to do is just take a deep breath, give it an hour, give it 15 minutes, give it a couple minutes. And then I just say, okay, separate it all out. And then what can I do right now to make it better? If I need more time, then I'll just say I need more time. So I try to slow it all down, separate it in buckets, and then go after what I can solve and improve. But it doesn't come to me as stress anymore or much anymore. It comes to me more like, oh, that's curious, or that's an interesting twist, and how we're going to handle this one. And what resources do I have to do it? And then I go into problem solving mode pretty quickly.
So you mentioned already rituals or habits or activities that you do regularly that benefit you. So we heard about your meditation, prayer, accountability calls. Is there any other ritual or activity or something you do regularly that has benefited you in the business growth or personal growth in your life?
Sure. The working out, getting healthy, and I do that every day, of course, and I do breathing techniques as well, not as regular, but I'm doing more of them right now. But really, it's just working out and getting exercising and taking care of my health, and I eat pretty healthy. And that just makes me feel lighter and feel with more energy. I lost 65 pounds back in 2007. And since then I've never gained it back. So that served me so well. Now they just eat healthy and work out every day, at least something. And on days, even when I have crowded schedules or things I'm traveling or things are moving around, I'll at least do 15 minutes of something. So again, it's that daily habits. And, people ask me, quite frequently, go to this event, how that, you come out of an event, you're so excited, but then you kind of come down, it still gets less exciting. And which really the game changer for me was daily rituals. And, I can't stress enough that what you do every day defines you. And if you're 2 cups of coffee before you even start thinking, that defines you. And that's okay, but just understand that's what's defining you. If it's rituals like meditation and thinking time, and that defines you. And if you do it every day. So what you do every day, whatever it is, understand that's going to be your pattern that's going to support you, help you or hurt you. So you change those dailies, you change whatever you do daily, you'll change your life. And it doesn't matter how many events you go to or what learning you get. It's, can you apply it? For instance, in my business world, I have daily business rituals that I go through every day, that I check in on my optics for my companies. And I say they're good or bad, or I'm going to take an action. And if I didn't do that, the company wouldn't have, 365 chances where I check in. Okay, maybe not Saturday, Sunday, but 100, a lot of times I can check in and I can make a difference in the company. But if I don't do that daily, then I don't have that chance.
Is there any advice you hear today about running a business and you disagree with?
Yes. Today, right now, with the global crisis, people are saying, hold on, it's going to pass. This isn't going to pass. This is not something that you should hold your breath like you're underwater. Hold on to all your people, hold on to all your ideas, and just wait for it to stop. It's not going to stop. It's changing everything. It's changing the way people buy. It's changing the way people think about products. It's changing the way people think about their lives and their families. And that affects what products they're going to want and what services they want. And it's changing, your business because of all of these changes of where you would normally create your revenue. So the advice that says, hold on to all your people and wait for it to end and take the loan and do this kind of thing with your business because this will be over. It's not going to be over. It's changing. So the best advice I can give for companies right now is watch your cash flow really, really closely. Guard your cash flow really, really closely. Match your expense to your collections, not your revenue, not what you charged for this month worth. Match your expense, what you're spending on with your amount of money you collect, because there's a good chance that some of those clients aren't going to pay you because they can't, because they for some reason are don't have enough cash. And you don't want that to affect your business. So match that, and then understand that this is a time frame where you have the opportunity to change who you are as a company and how you service your clients, and take advantage of that opportunity, because this is really focused time for you as a business person to understand what really the market's doing, and use that focus, all your energy, to redefine your company in little bits. I'm not a big advocate of jumping over and just changing everything. Add a new service, add a new technology, add these things, and then start pushing forward to see how they're going they're going to be able to create revenue for you, and continue to do that. And then I think you're going to be in really good shape as we're not going to just come out of this. We're going to transition out of this crisis. And some industries are going to come out faster. Other industries are not even going to come out at all. And some are going to come out very crippled. And there's opportunity in all that. And where's your role in that? Where's your company's role in that is my question. And that's going to make a big difference.
Is there a question that I should ask you, and it would be interesting for our listeners or viewers? So is there any question that I haven't asked you?
No, you've asked some really good questions. Really good questions.
To wrap up, so what would be one piece of advice you would give to students graduating today or tomorrow?
I can't think of a better time to be coming out. I know it's kind of, you lost your commencement, the whole ceremony, and a lot of things have been changing on you as students graduating or coming out just recently out. But the world is now different. The world now needs your creativity. They need your open-mindedness. They need your energy. The world is kind of like a brand new chalkboard, if you will, or green field that you can plant in now, which you couldn't have done it before because of the way the world was structured or set up. The opportunity for you to grow, create a business from start and grow it quickly is I would say 10 times more rich for you right now. The opportunity for you to get in a company and change a company's culture is 10 times faster you can move right now. So it's kind of like everything kind of got reset. You know, it's like, okay, when you turn the computer up, you say reset, you know, the whole game is starting from zero. And you've got to see everything up into this point in your life. You got to see all the positives and the negatives. You got to have all those kind of opinions on what can be different. And I think now, these next 1 year, 4 years, 10 years of your life, you can redefine that in your career, and that for your companies, and that for your own personal life. So it's a tremendous opportunity for you coming out today or soon into the marketplace, and the world needs it. It needs new, fresh, strong energy ideas with creative thinking and loving and caring hearts that'll contribute. And I think it's a tremendous opportunity for you guys. So congratulations and good luck.
Okay. So finally, what would be your one piece of advice that you would give to business owners who listen to us today? Maybe very short.
Yeah, very short. I would say, watch your cash. Cash is king. Do your 13-week cash flow. Be vigilant on doing your collections, and then service your existing clients like you've never serviced them before, and you'll make it through this. You'll make it, and then you'll be able to pivot and create the company that's right for the time. So, good luck. I think you'll do well.
Don, thank you so much for joining us. It was a privilege and honor.
Yeah.
And I look forward to hearing from you again. I'm sure people will love to spend more time and learn more from you. Thank you so much.
Love to. Thank you for the opportunity. It's been a pleasure. Bye now.
Thank you. Če vam je bil ta posnetek všeč in želite vsak teden dobiti novo aktualno vsebino ter praktične nasvete za 10-kratno rast vašega podjetja, vas vabim, da se pridružite Mastermind klubu 10krat rast, ker vas čaka nadaljevanje današnjega pogovora z Don Wisniewskim, v katerem je tudi razkril, kam vlagati dobiček podjetja, katere aktivnosti ne smete kot vodje nikoli delegirati naprej, in odgovoril na številna druga vprašanja. Če bi radi postali člani kluba Mastermind 10krat rast, vas vabim, da obiščete spletno stran mastermindakademija.com ali pa kar nam pišete na info@mastermindakademija.com in napišete, da bi radi postali člani tega odličnega združenja podjetnikov in podjetnic, kjer delamo na temu, da vi izboljšate vaše poslovanje, vašo rast. Če bi radi, da še koga povabim izmed uspešnih podjetnikov, vodij, če bi radi kakšno posebno vsebino, ki bi jo znotraj našega podcasta pokrili, vas res vabim, da nam pišete za ideji s predlogami in z veseljem se bomo potrudili, da bomo poiskali možnost, da vam tudi to ponudimo. hvala lepa, da ste z nami. Vabim vas, da se naročite na naš podcast, da se naročite na naš YouTube kanal, da nas spremljate na različnih možnih kanalih, zato ker bi radi prav za vas vam dostavili najboljšo vrednost, največje ali pa najbolj koristne informacije, ki jih potrebujete pri vašem poslu in pri vašem delu.